going on, guys? I'm going to start working on the Celica today, and I just want to kind of show you what we've been doing. So I got some goodies from Technotoy, got my seat brackets back from Powder Coat. I'll show you guys what is going on with the rear coilovers, because I had a hell of a time trying to figure out like exactly what's the right combo, what to use. So I finally found out what to do, and I'll show you guys that. Rear coils, rear trailing arms, and we'll button that up. And then I want to show you guys how I lowered the seat rails in the car, because my head was like almost hitting the top. It's not like a tall guy friendly car. So there's still some figuring out with that to do. Like, I don't know if the sliders are gonna work, but we'll see. I'll get into that in a minute. Yeah, let's get into it and see what's going on. Technotoy offers 3 different kinds of suspensions. Like, these are for an 886. So these ones are the Super Sport ones. They're blue. They don't come with any dampening adjustment or anything. Strictly street use. I think these are the ones that is right for my application. I don't need anything fancy. I'm not going on the track or anything like that. If I were, there's another one that's upgraded. It's an AGX. I think it's called AGX shock. Those are click dampening. I'm not sure how many, maybe 12 or 16 position, but those ones are better. They're upgraded, whatever, and it's nice to be able to adjust things. But again, the price difference, what I'm going to be using the car for, don't need it. And then the third upgrade, I think, is a HTS, I believe, and that is a completely different shock and a completely different spring, and that one is like pretty aggressive. And the guy was like, it's not really for street use and track use. It's a little heavy. Also, you can get different springs with that, spring rates, also Swift springs. But again, for the price of what I'm doing, this is like right on the money. So alright guys, these are from Technotoy also, as you saw. This is the 4-link for the RA29 or RA28, whatever. These will give us quite a bit of adjustment, so we can adjust that axle or where we want it as we lower it. Generally what happens is when you lower the car, the axle wants to come towards the front of the vehicle. And with this adjustment, we can put that in its place as we lower it or wherever we're going to have the ride height. There also is a panhard bar that's in there that's like, I think it goes from the axle to the chassis on one side to the other. And that is now adjustable also, because once you do lower the car again, the axle wants to shift to the right or to the left. So with that adjustable arm, you can center your axle. With this 4-link, we can center our axle this way. So we'll put this in. I'll show you the adjustability needed to do that. And yeah, hopefully it's pretty straightforward to install, so it should be pretty easy. All right, since we have these out already, now we're going to adjust the length of them. I guess the best place to start, I think, is the factory length. So just kind of crack these loose a little bit and make sure one doesn't spin more than the other. And if it does, tighten it back up and start over. This one's a little tight. So for this one back here, you're gonna have to use the original bolt, it's super long. All the other ones do not fit.
Okay, so now that's done. We're gonna go ahead and put this in, and I want to show you guys where we have to kind of clearance stuff. This is where it doesn't really fit too much. You can tell what we're hitting, just a little bit. So what we're gonna do to get this thing in here, move this out of here, is I'm gonna cut this a little bit, bend it back. I'm gonna use some shears. I think this stuff is pretty thin, so we'll just use our basic, shears. So like that. I'm gonna cut here all the way up as much as we can. Do the same thing on this side, and then I'll bend this all the way back. And then if we have to, make some clearance, probably right over here. And this stuff is also pretty thin. You can probably bang it with a hammer. There's a little lip here. So I'll bang that back. Bang this back, bend this, and I think that should do it. So let's give it a shot.
All right, guys, here's the driver's side, and that is clearance I needed to make up there, as well as that little guy too, which is pushed up right there. So that fit nice. It's all done. This is the passenger side, which is a little different. As you can tell, that this whole section is here and not on the driver's side. So I had to manipulate a couple things. It wasn't the easiest to do, but I noticed that when I put it in, I had to now move the shock over in order to get it in place here. So the the collet was hitting, this little piece here. So it seems like there's a lot, maybe excessive. I didn't need to do that much, but you need to pull it over quite a bit in order to get this in. So that was that. I probably went a little crazy here. I didn't need to do that much, but regardless, this whole thing will be painted and it'll be nice. Don't have to worry about that. Made our clearance there, that guy, and a little bit in there also. You can tell like this spring is super close, so they're definitely tight tolerances, but everything went together pretty easy. When installing this, loosen this collet, tighten the bottom, tighten the top, and then you can manipulate this spring in order to get it in the right place, because it definitely has to be kind of like clocked a certain way, so when you compress everything, it doesn't hit. As you can tell, there's like a big gap here, wherever, and you can see it here. So that way, when it compresses, it doesn't smash into anything or whatever, because like I said, the tolerances are extremely tight. But I don't know, it's pretty straightforward. Once you go ahead and install everything, you'll understand like what to do. So, but I had to probably take the shock out maybe 2 or 3 times just to like check my tolerances and figure out what to do, what to move. But anyway, this is probably the best scenario for coilovers, other than trying to cut things and weld and get crazy. So definitely best bang for your buck. So all right, anyway, we're gonna move on to our next thing, which is gonna be our seat brackets, and I'll show you guys what I did there. I made them a little while ago, but I still have to install the sliders and the seats. So let's go over to the bench and I'll show you what's going on with those. All right, so here is I think it's the passenger side. These are from Planted. I'll put the little link underneath and check them out. So these fit pretty well, but they sit pretty high. So as you can tell, I altered the brackets. I just bent like a little 90 and then welded a couple pieces on. And this is your desired length, meaning how low or high you want to go. And then we had to alter the mounting points for the rear here. So I just cut a little piece of round stock like that, and I just tacked them in place. I also cut them on an angle, as you can tell, that one, and then it'll sit flush. So what'll happen is I'm gonna put a bolt in from the bottom of the car, and then you'll have your threads poking out of the top, and then you can just tighten it from the top, you know. So let's go over to put these in, and I'll show you how it works. All right, guys. So this is where they used to sit before, probably about there. They had little 90 brackets that you'd bolt in, and then you would use your existing mounts. There was one here, and there was, I think this is the one. It's kind of over here. So I got a spot weld remover, which is a kind of a half-ass drill bit, and you can just kind of drill out exactly what you need in order to remove this. Then we're not drilling a hole all the way through the car. So maybe I'll put a little link underneath if I can find it. It's kind of a hard tool to find, but anyway, this is where they would mount, or I think this is the driver's side one, but whatever, we don't need these. So here you go. This kind of sits like this, kind of like that, and you can just put your bolts right in here. You know, these are the factory locations. If I get this thing in, and that's it. So we gained, I don't know, whatever this is, maybe 2 inches or so. You know, I definitely left a little bit here in case I have to put some bolts underneath. The heads won't hit the bottom, you know what I mean? And then these are hitting the floor, and we'll just come up with the bolt, and like I said, put the nut right on top, and that'll give us a little bit of clearance. Also, I had to make sure to make these mounts in the back a little taller, because it was kind of sitting on an angle, and it was sitting like this. And then obviously my seat is going to be at an angle, so I tried the best I could to kind of level things with the door-ish, and then I also measured from the back to this little, as a support that goes across the car, to try to make it even. This one was close, but I think it's like a 16th or an 8th off. You won't, it's not, it's probably a 16th off or an 8th off. But when I was welding it, you know, the heat, things moved, so whatever, not a big deal. I guarantee you're not going to notice that. And if you do, then I can always put some washers in the front here and like manipulate it a little bit. The holes also I have left a little longer, or left a little bigger. That way I can semi-locate things. But this should make for a pretty solid bracket. So I think we should be good. The only thing that I'm nervous about, which you're probably looking at the same, saying what the hell is going to happen. The sliders sit here and they move up and down, and the slider may ram in or hit something, so you won't be able to move the seat up anymore. Also, the handle for the slider to activate and deactivate the slider mechanism, I'm going to have to make a little bracket up, or we'll have to, you know, figure that out also, which that shouldn't be too hard. But the only thing I'm kind of nervous about is getting the sliders to be able to actually function. I'm gonna go ahead and open the box for the sliders because I haven't seen them yet, and let's mount those and see what kind of trouble we're in. See what kind of trouble we created for ourselves. All right, so here we have the passenger side. I already did the driver's side, kind of figured things out, so I wasn't kind of going through the motions with you guys. So I'm just gonna kind of walk you through how I went about doing this. There probably is 2-3 different ways, but this is the way I come up with. So what we're gonna do is mount these here first, just to, because we have to drill some holes in here, just to like kind of move these back a little bit. So this side will go here, right? Yep. And then this side will go here. We're gonna take these holes here and use the furthest back ones for first, you know. So we're gonna kind of go like this, mark everything. This side actually, so we're gonna use this guy, and then this one is about here. So what I did was kind of just eyeball it, because these have like some play in them. take the other one, do the same. So now let's go over to the seat, and we're going to put these on first, and then we'll fix this bracket onto the seat. This part is kind of a pain in the ass, but we'll show you. Maybe we'll walk you through a little bit. So these are the seats I chose. These seats have been sitting upstairs for almost 2 years, so they're kind of a bunch of shit on them. But these are Recaro LX seats, and they used to have these in a lot of the BMWs, the older ones, and also a lot of the Mustangs, like Fox bodies, Salines and stuff. The mesh headrest is pretty popular. So yeah, I like the stitch, something different. I actually got these reupholstered from Thailand. This guy there, I forgot the name of his company, it's forever ago now, but I think he gets them like out of old junkyards and stuff, and like then he just reupholsters them. So everything is like mint. Good price, and they came in like they came in a week and a half from Thailand from this guy. If I can find the link, I'll put it underneath and you guys can check him out. But he's definitely trustworthy, and he has a variety of things that you can't find anymore. So, but all right, enough of that. Let's go ahead and try to wrestle with these brackets. So what I did was just turn the brackets around, or the sliders around. So now our handle is going to be back here instead of in the front, because we have no room for that. There's no interior in the car, so it's kind of hard to say like, oh, it's too close or it's too far. So we're just going to kind of wing it and see what happens. Now, on these, I want to just mention that there's one hole in the back, two in the front. So you can kind of position this kind of wherever you want. There's multiple holes on here. You know, you can kind of screw around depending on what you're putting it in. You know, also the bracket is slotted, so you can kind of move anything around. There's some wiggle room you can play with. You know. So this part is absolutely no fun. It's very tedious. We don't have too much room to move this up and down to put our bolts in for the bracket, and that's because we obviously have something stopping us. So what I did is we can kind of use a different bolt. It's a little bigger and it fits in here, and it won't twist on you, so you can throw your bolt in and it'll just hold. But the hard part is getting everything so it doesn't just drop right through. Now we're gonna put this little handle on. This is what's gonna release your rails, obviously. But this thing's gonna stick way far back. So what I'll do later on is I'll cut this shorter, so we'll be able to move the seat back without hitting the back of the car. I'll show you that after everything's together. Getting everything lined up is probably the hardest part, but after you have everything lined, you know, you can kind of figure out everything. Alright, that's that. So it's the same exactly as the other one. It's nice. They're sitting level. They're pretty square also. It is kind of far away. So this is pretty much the max it can go. I don't know about how. I guess you just grab it. That's all the way up. The only thing we can do maybe is modify the seat, which I really do not want to do that, obviously. But without any interior, you don't really know how far things are away from anything. But I think it's okay. My headspace is all right. It's still what it is, but I can't go any lower. So I'm sacrificing moving backwards. I'm sacrificing my seating position back for the height as much as I get. So if I want to move any forward, I think I'm gonna have to be on top of that rail, and that's not the game here. So this here, obviously it's gonna hit if I move back even a little bit. So I think I'll just, like I said, I'll just trim that a little bit. It'll take maybe 2-3 inches off of it, and you can grab it, and then you can scooch back if you want to go back. I really don't think we're going to have to go back any further than that because I think we're pushing it as it is, but whatever. That is what it is. We really have to get our interior back in to see where we're sitting. So here's the driver's seat, and this one also gets it as far up as it can go. Much it. But the gas pedal feels a little close, but the clutch pedal feels a little far away. So again, like, I have no steering wheel in here, so I don't really know where I'm going to position it. I also like those steering wheels that are like kind of pitched. I think they're 70mm, like closer to me. They're just a little more comfortable. So we'll see. Once we get the steering wheel in there, we'll address what we need to, but headspace is okay. Everything's okay, but the only thing that kind of sucks is this. I don't know if you can see it. The shifter is like really far forward. And I do have one of those bars that is kind of angled a little bit, but I don't know how that's going to sit. I think it's going to sit like way up here, which I don't like that either. So we'll get the whole interior complete, see where everything is, and go from there. I think that's the best before we start complaining about this fits and this doesn't, you know. But I have a feeling that it's okay. I have a feeling that we're all right. But this A-pillar seems really close to me, but also, you know, the clutch feels kind of far away. So, but anyway, that's that. Let's move on before we dwell on this too much. We did all we can do here, and I think we're in a good spot.